the director for the EL and Migrant programs. I'll be kicking off this quarterly call, and then we'll hand it off to, and I'm going to just let my team introduce themselves. So Sarah?
Sarah Seamount, Migrant Education Coordinator.
Hi everyone, this is Alyssa Metzler, Title III and EL Coordinator.
Kelly Wheeler, Program Specialist for EL Migrants.
Hi, and I'm joining today. I'm Melanie Jones. I'm a part of the assessment department and work with the Wida suite of assessments.
All right, thanks. Yeah, it's so great that we are able to collaborate with different departments, and so today it's with our assessment department. All right. As many of you know, you've probably seen this slide, but we are guided by 3 STE goals that we truly believe here in our department and across the department, or our division and across the department. But this really is what guides the work that we do and why we do what we're doing here at the department. Our agenda is shown here on the screen, so I'll kick it off with any shared announcements that pertain to both departments that I oversee, or both programs that I oversee, the EL and Migrant. Sarah will then follow up with Migrant information. We'll have a break like we normally do, and then Alyssa and Melanie will close us up. I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions, please type them into the chat box or the question box, and we will answer those along the way. So here's just again, our PDF has hyperlinks with them, and we've checked them, so they all should be working. We just want to remind you to please check out our website. It is updated as fast as we can get the information to our website manager, and we have a wealth of information there, and we're trying really hard to keep it very organized and clutter-free. So please don't forget that this is a great resource to find some of the answers to some of the questions that you may have. And continue to follow us on YouTube if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, but there's the link. And again, all the links should be working in that PDF. We will upload the webinar, the video, as well as the handout to YouTube as we have in the past. And you're just going to see this slide, similar to the STE goal slide. We're just going to have this slide continue to be part of our training, but we just need to continue to be very diligent about protecting our student data and their rights and their privacy. So again, if you haven't read the law or the statute itself, there's that link, and just some quick reminders of not to email personally identify information for students. Please use that secure FTP site, or call us. That helps with keeping that information safe and secure for our kiddos. And if you need access to the site, the secure site, either contact Sarah for migrant students or contact Alyssa for English learner students. All right, so I get to talk a little bit about the National Migrant Conference, and some of you are probably wondering, well, it doesn't happen till April, Christina. Well, yeah, but they're looking for proposals, and I love, thank you, Sarah. Sarah helped me with my slides. Could it be you? So that's definitely Sarah's voice coming out. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
And so, yeah, so 2018 is really when our National Migrant Conference kicks off. And if you have never attended, this is really the greatest time to attend because A, it's in Portland, Oregon, which is a quick flight or drive over, and it's April 29th through May 2nd. So why am I talking about it now? Well, because they are looking for some top-notch proposals which are due December 22nd. And we just want to encourage both migrant folks that are out in our stellar migrant programs, as well as EL people who are doing amazing things for migrant students who happen to be English learners as well. We would love and encourage you to submit a proposal, and we would love to back you up on that as far as just encouraging you to attend. And if this is not presenting at national workshops is not your cup of tea, which is totally okay. We do want you to just save those dates because, like I mentioned before, the National Migrant Conference has always had strands for English learner teachers or paraprofessionals. And so we do encourage you to look at your professional development needs, and perhaps this conference can fit your particular needs in your district or your schools. So if you need any information on that, you are welcome to call the four of us. I mean, really, Kelly, Alyssa, Sarah, and myself, we have all attended. And so if you need any information or curious about, have any questions about it, just give us a ring. I've also included the links down here at the bottom so you can peruse their website and get more information there as well. And this last slide, and I think I'm off the hook, has to do with questions, but not just questions. If you have any concerns, or even better yet, any compliments or comments for my team, please send them my way. I really love to hear when my team has done an amazing job. I already know that they're doing an amazing job because I see it in their day-to-day work. But if you ever want to give my team a kudos, please email me or call me. I just love to hear that kind of stuff. And of course, if you ever have a question or a comment, or if you're not sure, also let me know. It's kind of like that when you go into those restaurants and you see that sign, make sure to let me know if it's not working, but also let me know when it is working, because our ladies here are doing an amazing job, and I don't get a chance to tell them enough. And so, yeah, with that, I think I get to kick it off to Sarah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. And I would just add to what Christina said, if you have suggestions, if anything, organization on the website, or if the logical place that you thought something would be was not where you found it, please let us know, because that's always a work in progress, and we love to improve it. And just recently I've done that with a couple of documents people are having a hard time finding. We've put them in a better place. So, so we do love the feedback. All right. Do we have any questions that we need to stop for, or are we moving on? Okay. So education of migratory children, and I don't know if you've noticed, but you'll start seeing this as the way that we refer to our program. It is the way that ESSA refers to our program. It is a change. And so we are now the program that is the education of migratory children. All right. So again, just like you're thinking about the National Migrant Conference, which is not until April, I'm going to make you think even further ahead and talk a little bit about summer school. And there's a couple of different things that we're going to talk about. Just first of all, as some of you know, old timers who've been around a long time, there was a summer school training that we had in the past that was called Summer School Starts in September, or Summer Starts in September. And it's the idea, the thinking behind that is absolutely true. A really good summer school program does start with planning long before the first day students walk into the classroom. And we know that summer slide is real, those of us that are in the migrant program, because we all got lots of lovely training in the spring for the changes to our COE and our eligibility. And then in the fall, we all had to kind of do some relearning. And we don't want our students to experience that summer slide where they forget the things that you have so carefully taught them this year. But we also know that summer school can be challenging and exciting and fun. It doesn't have to be boring. And we want kids that want to come to summer school. The kids that want to be there are going to be those that really participate and get the most out of it. So here are some early planning topic ideas. Consider theme, talking about what your theme will be for the coming year. Enrichment opportunities, which naturally would lead to partnerships. Look at what are some of your community partners, people that you can work with. Districts have used universities, library systems, museums, other agencies that serve similar populations, and extension offices. There's so many partnerships that can really enrich your opportunities for kids. Staffing needs, we'll talk about just kind of, looking at your budget and what that might look like in just a second. Curriculum, if you're going to do something that is themed, you may want to look at some additional novels or something on that sort that goes with your theme. You can start looking for those now. And then also talking about parent involvement, which would lead you to kind of be thinking about the possibility of a binational teacher, which definitely is something that will bring your parents to the school because they have universally loved that program. So that's kind of one side of planning. The other side of planning, though, and this has to do with kind of the staffing needs, is that there are a number of programs that have small migrant programs that already have an existing summer school program that is not paid for with migrant funds. So maybe a Title I, IRI, 21st Century summer school program that exists. And migrant students are accepted and encouraged to attend that. One of the things that we've been discussing here is how can we help you and how can we help our migrant students to get something additional that extends the migrant services that they're receiving into that summer time frame. And so we'd like to encourage districts that already have a migrant or already have a summer program that is not a migrant program to consider the possibility of adding some additional services using migrant dollars to serve those migrant kids. And that could come in a number of forms. It could come in ensuring that your migrant students have additional materials to use during the summer at home, because as we know, migrant students, due to the nature of their moves, oftentimes don't have home libraries to read or school supplies to use. It could be in the form of staffing to assist those migrant students who may or may not be English learners, but also may or may not be struggling academically. And so deciding what additional services could be provided to those migrant students could allow you to have migrant services to your migrant students. And that would count for migrant summer services in MSIS. You would be able to count that as providing summer services. So something to think about, and feel free to call and ask questions. We're kind of charting a little bit of new waters for Idaho, and I know we all know not just to plant, but at the same time, we don't want to cheat those students out of services that they really need. So feel free to call, and we can kind of throw some ideas around, make sure we're doing it right, but make sure that it happens. So anything to add on that one? Okay.
Yeah, we just encourage you to reach out to us, and we really want this to work for all programs. And when I mentioned this to Karen, the director for Title I, she was excited that we were looking at this partnership of how can we add migrant summer services onto an existing program like Sarah just so eloquently mentioned. And so that way we all kind of win in this scenario. So she's excited and we're excited. So we want to help as much as we can.
And the bottom line is always what's going to be best for our migrant students and what's going to meet their needs. And so I think it's a good thing. All right. So continuing on, Idaho independent re-interviews, and this is kind of exciting. It was kind of scary, but we made it through the other side. So here's the process and the results from that. Idaho is required, all states are required to do independent re-interviews every 3 years for 50 randomly selected migrant children. And this is part of Idaho's quality control plan, and it's similar to what we ask you to do, just to ensure that we're doing things correctly and not finding out at some later time that we weren't. I mean, this is a really good quality control to make sure that everything is working and that our identification and recruitment efforts are accurate. So this is the process. We did pull a randomly selected migrant list, and then the 50 students were selected, and then we did, and this was done by an outside reviewer that does not work for the department or for any Idaho school districts, and she did 50 initial phone re-interviews. Then any that didn't initially qualify based on those phone re-interviews, we did research on those, and then we went a second time for 4 of the remaining cases and did a face-to-face re-interview. Of those 4, 3 of them qualified on that second face-to-face re-interview. The result is 49 out of 50 children qualified from our sample. And that's a long, kind of hard process in times where families can be pretty hesitant about talking to some stranger on the phone. So we feel really good that we've gotten through it, we've done it, and that we had such good results. Binational teacher exchange. And I did just get an email in the last day or two. Somebody asked for the link, and I'm going to be providing it here. We will also be adding it to our website if you might be interested in a binational teacher. So I'll just tell you a little bit about it. The Binational Teacher Exchange is designed to provide a cultural and educational benefit to binational migrant students in the U.S., as well as expertise to educators serving binational students. So there are really two purposes to the program. One benefits the students, but the other one benefits the teachers that are working with these students. They learn an enormous amount in summer school working with a binational teacher, and kind of the unspoken beneficiaries are the parents who really, really, really love this program. These experiences result in a better understanding of the culture, educational and linguistic diversity of Mexico and the U.S. It helps Mexican teachers to know how we do things here in the United States, and it helps us to understand some of the really positive things that happen in Mexico, because from what I've seen, the quality of these teachers is always absolutely top-notch. So here's the breakdown of the responsibilities. The state is responsible for certain things, the district is responsible for other things, and then the Mexican government is responsible for another part of it. So what we do is provide the J-1 visa and insurance for the teacher. We also, through Christina Alvarez, who's our coordinator, we also interview and select the teachers, and she actually goes to Mexico and interviews these teachers and picks only the very best for Idaho. We get the best. And I can say from having hosted binational teachers for 5 years in my home that they have been just wonderful people. The district is responsible for finding a host family. This oftentimes is the summer school coordinator, but it does not have to be. And so that's the district's responsibility. Transporting the teacher to and from the airport and from housing to the workplace. And most families that host a binational teacher also take them to do fun things on the weekends, but the requirement is just that you pick them up at the airport, take them to the home, and then provide work, a ride to work and back every day. And so that's why oftentimes the hosting family is a family of a teacher or a director who works in the summer school program. And we also the district also reimburses the teacher for the background check and provides a weekly stipend to the teacher of at least $250 and provides supplies and materials. So those are the things that the district pays. It is less than the district would pay comparably for a certified teacher here. It isn't insignificant, but the work that you get, I think, definitely makes it worth it. And then finally, Mexico pays for the teacher's airfare. So this is a real collaborative effort between two governments and the local district to provide that opportunity for kids and for parents and for teachers. So if you have questions and are interested in applying, there is a link here, and it'll also work on the PDF, which you have as a handout, and we will also be adding it to our website, so you'll have numerous ways to get to that link. And then if you have further questions before you actually take the plunge and apply, contact Christina Alvarez. There's her office and her cell numbers, and talk with her, and she can tell you all about it. She actually provides some summer support, comes and visits, makes sure that things are going smoothly. So she's definitely the one to talk to. She knows all about it.
The link is also in the chat box, so you can copy and paste that as well and save it somewhere. In addition, we got a shout out from Kasia School District, and they said that they love their binational teacher. So thank you, Ms. Kim, for that, a wonderful compliment. We also love this program too. So yeah, give us Christina a call if you have any questions, and we look forward to increasing the number of binational teachers that we host here in Idaho.
Yeah, and if you have any questions just about what the experience is like, you're also welcome to call me, because I've Like I said, I've hosted a binational teacher and worked with them in multiple years of summer school, and so I'm happy to answer questions. Okay, now this is something that is relatively new, but we just found out there is going to be a U.S. Department of Education study, and so this is kind of a preliminary heads up, but we'll give you a little overview of what it's about. The U.S. Department of Education has launched a study of the migrant education program in each state. It's going to begin mid-November, so coming very shortly, and then will end January of 2019, so it'll be a year and a month or two. The study will be conducted by SRI Education and Policy Studies Associates and Arroyo Research Services. So these are outside evaluators of the migrant program hired by the Office of Migrant Ed, or the Department of Ed through the Office of Migrant Ed, to study the effectiveness of the migrant program. So it could be very useful information, we hope. Idaho MEP-funded districts may be selected to participate in the study, and that if you were selected, it would include a site visit, or could include a site visit and or a telephone interview with the study team. We don't know yet who will be selected. We don't even know which states will be selected, and so if Idaho is selected from the states that are participating, then we would have to wait to find out essentially which districts would also be participating. So this is kind of in the future, but it's not in the very far future. We will keep you posted as we know whether or not Idaho is selected to participate. And then when the study concludes, then we'll all be interested in looking at what the results of that study show. So here's the purpose: to examine and describe how states, regions, schools, districts, and local operating agencies, schools, and projects implement programs for migrant children and youth. So basically, how is it that we are serving our kids, and how do we implement that? And then to learn how all of the different MEP grantees collaborate with other agencies and programs. And this is something, if you've been monitored recently, you know that that's one of the questions we ask is, how do you collaborate with other categorical programs and liaisons? You're out there all the time collaborating with other agencies for referrals, so they're going to be looking into that. And they also want to inform program development by providing data collected from the field. So they're going to collect, we don't know yet what kind of data, but they'll collect a lot of data, and that analysis can be very useful as well. Here are the questions that the study is proposing to answer. How do state and local grantees respond to federal requirements for serving migratory children? What services are provided to migratory students? How do grantees collaborate with other programs and agencies to address the needs of highly mobile students? And how do migrant programs support students in earning high school diplomas or equivalency credentials and preparing them for post-secondary education and the workforce? So these should all sound like things that we talk about a lot in the migrant program. So I feel like they're asking some really good questions, things that are very relevant to what it is we already do. So we will keep you posted and let you know as soon as we know more about who will be participating in the study. So at this point, you know what we know. Exciting news: the Albert Lee Wright Jr. Memorial Migrant Scholarship has just released their scholarship application information. And so I just put a little bit of information on here. I'm sure most of you have heard of it, but just in case you didn't know, this is a significant scholarship. It's $3,000, and it is available only to migrant seniors who are accepted to a college. So that means that it's, it's not open to all students. This is for migrant students, and so we really want to encourage them to apply for it. In all the years that I've gone to the National Migrant Conference, I have listened to many of these grantees, or the ones that have won the scholarships, and I've listened to them tell their stories, and they are always amazing stories of students who've risen above a lot of barriers in their life to be having this opportunity. And I would love to have one of the children on that podium, one of those youth, be an Idaho student. And I don't think in all the years I've gone that I've ever seen anybody from Idaho win. So I think it would be just fantastic. And because it is presented at the National Migrant Conference, this is really the year to jump on it, because it is in Portland. It is nearby. And so please encourage your students to participate. They are looking for hardworking students who have financial need. The students do not have to be straight A students. They can be students that have solid grades, but they could also be students who've shown improvement over time. So even if the student's overall GPA isn't stellar, but the student can show that from their freshman year to their senior year, they have gone from, maybe not such a strong student to a really strong student, they're looking for that too. So please encourage your students to participate. If you go to the website, the link is there. You can print out the materials, you can print out the requirements, and I think this is going to take a one-on-one conversation with students that you feel are likely to be applying for college. They do have to be admitted with a letter of acceptance to college. They don't have to be enrolled, but they do have to have a letter of acceptance to apply. So that limits it somewhat to just students who are applying for college. And then the deadline for this to be received on their doorstep, on someone's desk, is February 23rd. I would allow at least a week for mailing, just to be absolutely sure that delays in the mail don't prevent it from arriving where it needs to be. There's nothing more heartbreaking than to fill out the whole thing and then turn it in a day late. So let's make sure that kids are getting started on these pretty quickly. So, and those materials are available. Yes. Yes.
Really quick, Sarah, you have a question around this. Do they have to be residents or citizens? And can it be for undocumented students?
I did not see a reference to that.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and read, but we can contact this particular organization and get a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about a legal having, residency status, but we would have to check with them to be sure.
Yeah. So that's a great question. And we'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, it isn't a government one, so we'll find out. All right, this is my last section, and I am so excited. It's kind of like if you eat the bottom of the cake first and then the frosting. This is the frosting, or at least for me, because this has been a long process, and I'm super excited. So last week we had, well, it wasn't a party, but it felt like a party to me because it was such a good thing to get 4 or 5 of us together, somebody in the liaison role, somebody in the state, the regional role, somebody in the state approval role. Kelly was there, I was there. We had John, our developer, was there to kind of walk us through it. Many of us who were doing the beta testing had actually made a COE, an eCOE, but this was an opportunity to go through the flow of how that moves up the chain of approval, and if there are problems, how it comes back. And it went really well. We had really no problems and only a few ideas and minor things that we wanted to tweak, things that had to do with EDU IDs. It was, but it was really good. And then we had the idea, well, what if when a COE was rejected, what if it was color coded so that when you went to look at your pending eCOEs on your device, you'd be like, oh, there's a red one. I know that one just came back. I need to do something with that. So those corrections, even just our ideas, were already implemented as of yesterday. I got the email yesterday that said these are ready to go. And so I'm going to go back in and start looking at those changes, make sure that they're working. And then we're also right now in the process, well, I say we, but really it's our developer, who is in the process of working on an email notification system so that when you turn in a COE, you'll know, your regional will know that you've turned it in, submitted it, and then she'll forward it. And so each person in the process will be notified. If your COE is accepted, it's approved, and in the system, you will now get notified of that once we move to this system. And if it's rejected and sent back for corrections, you will also be notified of that. So I really feel like this is going to help us to stay on top of things because I don't know about you, but a lot of us do look at our phones to see what new emails we've got. So I think this will help considerably to speed up the process. We are well on our way to piloting in early spring. I don't have an exact date yet. We're probably looking at February or at least starting some training then, because we do know that we'll get students coming back in early spring, and so we want to be ready when we have those COEs that we can do. And I just wanted to give kudos to our amazing developer, John O'Brien. He is making this Idaho's ECOE. There are other states that have ECOEs, but this is going to be one that I think is going to fit us to a T, and everything is integrated into MSIS. It's absolutely seamless. And the really cool thing is when we have ideas like the color coding or any kind of thing that we want to do, we can ask, and if he can do it, he'll do it. So as we go through this piloting process, if you're one of the districts that's piloting, we're going to be seeking your feedback, because that kind of feedback can oftentimes work its way into improvements for the system. So now I'm going to reveal, these are the districts on our pilot list, and this is based on our last quarterly call this year. I know some of you had spoken up last year and said you were interested, and then we ran into that unfortunate delay with the new national COE, and so I started based on just who volunteered at our last webinar, our last quarterly call, because I thought, maybe you were interested last year, but you could have changed your mind. So this is just based on recent feedback. We would like to have at least one district in each of our regional IDNR coordinators areas. So we have Region 3 for Araceli. Caldwell has volunteered. In Region 3, that is Genoveva's area, Nampa has volunteered. For Peggy Pickett's area, Region 3-4, I have Gooding and Twin Falls. For Region 4, I don't have anybody yet. So if you are a Region 4 district and your regional IDNR coordinator is Robert Gomez, please let he or I know that you are interested, or type it in the chat, would be even faster. And go ahead and sign up. We will be providing training, and I think will be a good opportunity for some districts to try it out before we try and go, before we go statewide with the process. For Region 5, we have, for Christine Alvarez, we have Blackfoot, and for Region 6, for Lance Robertson, we have Fremont. So if you are interested and your name is not on this list, please go ahead and put that in the chat and just say, we would like to volunteer, or you can say, we would like more information, but we're considering volunteering. Now would be the time to do that so that we can make sure that we're ready to go sometime after Christmas. And that is it for Migrant today.
I just wanted to follow up on the question for the outright scholarship. The application does not list anything as far as citizenship goes. There's only 4 things that make the student eligible, and I think Sarah discussed those already, and none of them have to do with citizenship, which in my gut, that's what I thought, but I just confirmed it, and sure enough, so don't ask, don't question, that's not anything we're concerned with. So please encourage your students. And
they don't need to mention anything on that score either.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because it's not asking.
Are there any other questions, Sarah?
Right now. Very excited about, I'm getting a couple comments about the COE. They're very excited, and thank you very much for that. I don't think so. No other questions right now.
Okay.
So this is our break time then.
Mm-hmm.
We usually do about 5,
Let's do about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and then we will resume. So just hang on the phone if you need to hear Alyssa and Melanie's updates, if you work also with the EL program. If not, we will wish you well for those that need to get off the call. If not, we'll see you back in about 10 minutes. All right, folks, I think we're ready to continue our quarterly call. So now we have Alyssa.
Hey everyone, this is Alyssa Metzler, State EL Entitled Coordinator. Kind of miss you guys all. I feel like I've seen you so much lately. So I enjoyed being out in the last couple months visiting with you all, but I kind of feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Now I kind of miss y'all, your faces. So you get to hear my voice for just a little bit here, and then I'm going to cede some of my time to Melanie to share with you some updates about access that are coming up, because we're starting to gear up to that time of year to prepare for that. Just some really quick updates from me. What we're going to talk about really quick, just a couple quick reminders, people that you might need to get a hold of in terms of Imagine Learning or IDLA. So I just got that contact information for you here in a second. You will be able to start now inputting ELPs, and you'll be able to see the EL student summary in Elms, where I'm going to show you really quickly how to find and navigate to those locations within the Elms system. Kind of a quick debrief of our go-to strategies training that we had last month, and what are our next steps at the State Department for that. And then like I said, I'm going to be handing the rest of my time over to Melanie to share some updates with you about Access 2.0. So Imagine Learning, those of you, if you have questions around the Imagine Learning, these are your two contacts, Lori and Emily. They will be happy to answer any questions that you have about both the program or the professional development that goes along with it, or if you're having I know there for a little bit there were some connectivity issues, but I think those have all been taken care of now. So, but if you have anything like that, they are also your contacts for those as well. Additionally, the Idaho Distance Learning Academy, the IDLA, just a reminder that they have created those two English as a New Language courses, both 1 and 2, that are available to your middle and high school students who are low levels of language proficiency, if you need to get them enrolled in those courses. And just a reminder that they are, if you have students who come in later in the middle of the semester, you can, it is rotating enrollment. What's my word? It's not continuous enrollment. It's, sorry, you can enroll students throughout the semester. It's not, you don't have to do it just at the beginning of the semester. So that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Sorry, Alyssa, I don't know the word either.
It's like not in my head right now. I'm sorry. It's continuous enrollment. So you can enroll them throughout the semester. You don't have to just do it at the beginning of the year.
Which is the beauty, because
exactly
these kids show up at any time of the year. So yeah.
Just one final last call for our curriculum review. If you are interested in being part of our curricular review team, we are up for EL curriculum review at the State Department this year. It is going to be a spring review and a summer review. So you would be doing off-site review. You would be receiving materials from curriculum companies this spring. You are able to try them out, use them, write what you like about them, write what you don't like about them, and then come back to the SDE in the summertime. It's about June 18th through the 22nd, where we would be pulling all those reviewers together at the Boise Red Lion downtown, where you would be able to then talk amongst other people who were curriculum reviewers to decide how closely aligned certain curriculums are to our state standards, our state EL proficiency standards, where we compile a report then that is published to the state website of recommended curriculums for EL and core programs. So if you are interested in that, you do get to receive, or you'd receive those curriculums at your district or your home, and you are able to try them. You get to keep what they send you for free. So if you're interested in getting some additional curriculum materials, you can just click on that Apply Here button, and you will be able to apply to be part of that team here. We will be sending out this information to those people who have signed up for this very, very soon, probably within the next week or so. So just so you know as well, if you do choose to do this, you are able to also not only receive the curriculum for free, you also can earn credit if you do the on-site this summer. So the English Learner Management System. Now that we have the October IC upload, you are going to be able to start putting ELPs and be able to see those EL student summaries that we talked about at the end of our training in September. Do you remember when I talked about I talked to you about the ELM system and the new components that were part of it this year, and I said you're going to have to wait until the October IC upload? Well, that has happened. All the information has now been synced over, and so you should now be able to see these. I'm going to do the really quick walkthrough and show you how to find both of these and what each of one of those means. So the other thing with that is just keep also entering your kindergarten screener assessment scores, your new WIDA screeners, and if you are receiving any students who are from out of state, who come to you with Access 2.0 or maybe model or other alternate assessment access in their CUME file from another WIDA state, remember, you can input those into the ELM system now, so we start building that EL history for the student here in Idaho. So just quickly, when you are writing your ELPs, once you find a student within the English Learner Management System and you click on them, you will be able to see all of their demographic information here, their EDU ID, their name, everything. Once you click over on, once you get to this screen, you will see all the different actions that you can use on this child. This would be looking at their assessments if you need to put in a screener assessment. What we're going to be looking at is this English Learner Plan. That is where you're going to put those plans in now. So click on that English Learner Plan link. You will be forwarded to a screen that will look like this. You'll have the student's demographic information here, the district. If a ELP has already been written and submitted for this student, you would see it right here. Okay, you would be able to view or edit it if you are within the same district to edit. If the student has not had an ELP written for them, you will see a blue button that says Add New Plan. That is for you to click on and add a new plan for this student for this school year. Oops, sorry, clicked on the wrong button. Just a reminder that when you do have a plan that is already submitted, this View Edit right here, ELMS.editors from the same district are going to be able to go in and edit a plan that has been submitted within the same district, okay? So for example, you would see the student that I have here in the example is from New Plymouth. Someone else who has the New Plymouth ELMS.editor role within that district would be able to edit that ELP. If that student now transfers to Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene is only going to be able to view that student ELP. They are not going to be able to edit that student's ELP. They will be able to view it, read it, see what the district was doing prior to that, see if they can continue those exact same services, or they can add a new plan based on the services they are able to provide to that student in their district, okay? The parts of an ELP, once you click in to add an ELP, you will get forwarded to a page that has tabs that come across the top. There are, these are the tabs that you will see across the top. When you click into them, you will have to answer specific questions around each of these topics. The first part of it is going to be your school and team. This is who's part of the team that is creating the plan, okay? You might want to have parents on there. You would probably want to have your classroom teacher, maybe an administrator, okay? What would be a red flag if it's only the EL teacher who is writing this plan? This definitely needs to be a plan that is agreed upon and written by all people who have an academic interest in this child's language development. So make sure you have the right people as part of this plan, okay? The second tab is going to be your EL program qualifiers. This is just making sure that you are filling this out for students who do qualify. Is the home language survey present in their cumulative records? Just really making sure that we have all those pieces in place to be able to qualify that student and that this ELP is written for a qualified EL student. The next tab is your language instruction educational programs tab. This is your services that you are providing to the students. How are you providing the language development for this child? Are you doing it through co-teaching? Are you using a push-in model? Are you using a pull-out model? So that would be describing the services being provided to the student. Classroom accommodations. These are the in-class, this is the place where you're going to document the in-class supports that you are providing for English learners, Whereas the assessment support are the supports that you are providing for the students, or for the students' assessments, both summative academic assessments as well as classroom academic assessments. So if you are saying that the student needs to have an ISAT support of read text out loud on their ISAT assessment should not be the first time they are ever encountering that support. That should be important enough for them to also be receiving when they are taking other classroom assessments, okay? The next one is your language goals. These are going to be the language goals for the student in what domain you want to choose to write the goal in. You have the option to choose to work on the student's goals within the domain of listening, speaking, reading, or writing, or you're going to look at increasing their overall composite proficiency level. Just so you know that when you do click on the language goals, there are links on the bottom to the can-do descriptors by grade level. So if you need those to help support you in writing those goals for that student, definitely use those as a resource there, okay? Assessments. This is an overall view of the student's assessment history. This is view only. You do not need to add anything in here. This is for the reason of the print preview. Once you are able to print the entire ELP out, the assessments will print out as well with the all the information that you put in on the other tabs. So you get the holistic view of the student, both academically and language proficiency, okay? Submitting the ELPs. Once you have completed all the information per tab, make sure you hit save. And once you have completed all the information on all of the tabs, make sure you hit submit. Because remember where I showed you where you were able to view, edit an ELP? An ELP will not show up there unless it is submitted, okay? So how you know it is submitted? You will see, once you hit submit, you will see an actual certification that pops up that says this was submitted by this person on this time and this date, okay? Once it's been submitted, that's when you look up the student's ELP and you can view and edit it from there, okay? If you have any validation issues, they will pop up in a red tab right here. It will say validation issues in red. Click on them. It will say exactly what you're missing in order to be able to save and submit it. And finally, the EL student summary is now available with the IC upload, okay? When you log into ELMS, you would click on your district if you are, and if you have access to multiple districts, or your district will already show up over here on the side. You would see that I was logged in as Aberdeen School District. Now you are going to be able to see this option right here. It will say 2017-2018 EL student summary. Make sure that you are in the correct year. My screenshot is from the beta version, so that's why you see a different version. Whoa, sorry. Touchy mouse here. Okay. So once you click on EL student summary, what you are going to see now is a list of any currently enrolled EL student in your district, okay? That means you are able to see possibly students who have come into your district that maybe you didn't know were already qualified English learners. They are transferring from another Idaho district with an EL code. Maybe they have come to you now. If parents changed the home language survey, you would never have thought to look the student up in ELMS because they now have a language of English. And now you are able to look up in this EL summary, well, wait a minute, that student just now has transferred from another district with a current EL code. Let's do some follow-up to find out whether the student really is an EL or whether they are not an EL. So you would be able to see, for example, when I had logged in, excuse me, for this school district, this school district, these children had been, the provider will show you where they were qualified and enrolled. So you would see, as I'm signed in with Aberdeen, these three students, excuse me, were qualified as English learners in Aberdeen. This student was qualified in Snake River.
So that gives you an idea of where that student has come from previously in order to do any follow-up if you need to, okay? What's really exciting about this is as students transition from district to district, we are making sure that their EL status follows them. But for our districts who may not know to be looking students up in ELMS, they can easily go in, look at their student summary, and see if any students have are currently enrolled in their districts who have transferred in from other districts. So our districts who may not have English learners currently may be able to start seeing students transfer into their districts now. Finally, go-to strategies for classroom teachers of English learners. We had fantastic turnout and fantastic reviews of our go-to strategies for classroom teachers of English learners. We provided this in 4 locations, up in Coeur d'Alene, in the Nampa area, as well as Twin Falls, as well as Idaho Falls. We had fantastic turnout. Like I said, we were sold out in all of our locations. This is just some of the feedback that we got. Multiple other very positive pieces of feedback saying, I can't wait for this to be provided as a 2-day training. And when is it going to be provided again so we can send more of our teachers? So we're really excited about the feedback that we got. We're really excited about how it went and kind of what is our next steps? We had to tell a lot of people that we were full in all of our locations. So what are we going to do to be able to provide this training again? We are looking at additional spring and summer opportunities to offer the training, possibly as a 2-day workshop to earn credit, which is something that would seem to have a lot of positive feedback on. A lot of teachers were interested in even coming back and doing the training again and getting credit for it. So our other thing that we are considering in looking at is an ability to be able to build some capacity to be able to provide this training more and more often. We are going to be offering a 2-day train the trainer model, and that is also going to be coming this summer. So if you are interested in the train the trainer model so that we can be able to have some additional folks go out and help support us in providing this training, because as much as Susie, Monia, and I have loved to do it, it's a lot of time, and we've had multiple districts reach out to us saying, can you come and do the training for us as a day training? We would love to, but there are just not enough calendar days in the year to be able to go out and do that every single year. So we are trying to work at building some capacity to be able to offer this to more districts. So if you're interested in that, let us know. I have received several people who are interested in this, but more information will also be coming very soon as we set some times and locations. And with that, I'm going to cede the rest of my time to Melanie. Are there any questions for me?
Yes, there are a couple of questions. Two of them have to do with districts have currently been doing ELPs in one way. Now it's available in another way, and they're wondering about kind of the timing. Do they need to replace what they've already done?
I would suggest if they've already completed the ELP for this year, make sure it's in the CUME file. If you have time to go back and to do it a second time, that would be fantastic. The reason I say going into ELMS to do it is for the purpose of, if for some reason the ELP doesn't make it into the CUME file, or the CUME file doesn't follow the child to the next school district, then that ELP doesn't go with them to the next school. So the reason I'm going to say, please go and put them into ELMS is because that is immediate information for the next district who enrolls that child on the services provided.
And I will just add, this is Christina Nava. I will just add, going forward, we need them in ELMS. That's the whole point. And if you need assistance with transitioning from your old method or what you previously used to now moving into ELMS, reach out to myself, because Alyssa has been out doing trainings, or of course reach out to Alyssa. But that is the whole point. Our kids are so mobile that we need their services to pick up the minute they enter that next district.
There was also feedback that people really loved the go-to strategies, so that was definitely something that someone mentioned. And then there was also a question that maybe for down the road about possibly having different levels of rights in Elms. So that's something I'll show you so you can work on in the future.
All right, well, thanks, everyone. I'm going to give the rest of my time to Melanie here.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for including me today. And it is becoming a timely topic with Access 2.0 around the corner. I've been getting a lot of detailed questions on upload and ordering materials, and I know you all have various roles and or work with folks who have roles in this process. So hope that I can guide you towards some resources that will help as we prepare for Access 2.0. So a couple of little things here on the assessment itself and some changes from the past 2 years. So we're entering our 3rd year of administering Access, 3rd year in our WIDA membership. So each year WIDA asks us to provide site updates, including staffing and schools. So we've now done that. We've done 2 rounds of it, but I did want to let you know you can still update staffing and school information as a continual thing. The process will just look a little different as to how we get the information to them. So that is an ongoing thing if you have account needs, which is my next point here, but feel free to let me know and I can help guide you toward that process. So regarding account flow, there's 2 accounts needed to function, as many of you know. So we need access to the main WIDA site, and then we need access to WIDA's vendor where all of the test management activity happens, which is Wida Ams or DRC. So this acronym here, District Test Coordinators, we really encourage you to manage your users as related to WIDA assessments. So that could mean that you're a federal programs director, the title might be different with your role in your district, but anyone having that district level access, we really would prefer that you manage those roles because you know the ins and outs of your staff. We and myself will also assist with any new district member coming in because it requires permission for me to ask WIDA to set you up as a district level manager in the systems. So if you need assistance, if you're newer, need a refresh about how to clean up anyone in the systems, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to review that at any time. Getting into nitty-gritty, test material ordering in Wida Ams, that is happening now. So it just started on Monday. They opened it up for our state, and it continues for about a month. And this year, schools and districts will be doing that component. Test material ordering is done at this time by school by school. There's a grid online, and again, it's a tab in the Wida Ams area. There are many resources and videos and manuals that help guide you through it. I myself have to have those open often as I'm working through the system, so I would encourage you to find those manuals. Little things change from year to year, so it's really great to get a refresh. And I did want to emphasize that there's 2 components that schools are doing themselves this year, not the state, and that is a change. So the next one is loading your students into the system. That is what we call the pre-ID file upload. That is happening now as well and can happen, and there is a file layout that is available for you to see in Wida Ams. And I'll be getting into all those resources about how to find that here in just a second. So we got some feedback after last year's attempt to load ourselves. The state is a little bit limited with what we can capture from you all, and then our file becomes dated quickly. So we got a lot of feedback that this is a dated file that you loaded as the state, and we'd like more control over that. So it's a little bit of a tender formula as we sort of navigate the system, but we want to empower you to look at this as a very live opportunity to capture all of your active and current Ls into the system who need to test. So again, as a reminder there, SCE will not be loading the students in. I've talked about that a little bit, and it's accomplished in the pre-ID file upload. So sometimes that terminology gets confusing. How do I put my students in? It's related to this file upload process. So a couple other dates there at the bottom. As we move into post-student uploads, you're able to review your orders and see who's in the system. And there's a small window where they shut down and get everything prepped for the test. And then you can see the test setup and then when you'll get your test materials sent to districts. And I wanted to reiterate, the default for our state is that all test materials are mailed to districts, and then they're ordered and divided and organized per school. So all district offices get the boxes and the materials, and then you'll see them organized per school. You know the yellow boxes I'm talking about, I'm sure. And then finally, the test window there. It's at the end of January and extends until March 9th. So we will be providing a lot of outreach and tips as we get a little closer to that date. So certification, we've changed this a little bit this year. Enough didn't change where we feel like you're going to be okay if you've fully certified last year, if you've taken and passed all of the quizzes, and you won't need to re-certify. Your teams and test administrators won't need to if that is the case. Now, if you have anyone new that has come in, obviously they will need to fully certify and train on the Wida US site for access. And if you had a lot of staff, which we received a lot of this late summer into September, a lot of staff are new and completed the screener trainings because that was new and hit us quick and fast, and you jumped in and got everyone trained on that. But it is different than access. So we would have to request that anyone who trained and certified on the screener and they're new, they will also need to go in and do Access 2.0. So where to do that? That becomes confusing sometimes because of all the cross references between the systems. It's all off of the wida.us website. A user account needed to move into the training boxes and modules. So if you are a district test level person in your school or district, you can request that your users have a Wida account, and I can also serve as that backup too. They're fantastically fast at setting those accounts up for our users. Okay, I just got this sent. I asked DRC. I really appreciate all their manuals and things going on this year to keep things simple, but this is about as simple as we could get it for how to upload students into the Wida AMS system. So I hope this helps. Again, I would have to reiterate that just a quick read through the manual is going to be your ticket, and I have the page number memorized at this point. Page 76 of the AMS user guide is where you'll start the directions for how to upload students in the bulk upload format in AMS. And then page 50, I apologize, I haven't put this in here, but page 50 starts the material ordering process, the test material process. What's really nice this year is the 2-minute videos that AMS, Wida, and DRC have created on this as well. If you're like me, I'm a very visual person. Again, like I said, I usually have to have all these manuals out as I'm navigating through these systems. But what they've done this year is a quick video, and I think I have a moment to show you where they live. Let me try to get our mouse on here. Okay. So let me open this up for you all. They are under the assessment tab, the very bottom. Wida AMS now lives here. And the user guide for the year is at the top. And let me maximize this for you. And here are the quick 2-minute videos. So again, really nice. You don't have to listen to an hour-long webinar that's been recorded to get to the topic that you're looking for, which is hard to do. So I just wanted to show you, maybe this video 6, uploading multiple students. I will play this for just a moment, just so you can get a sense of the pacing. It's quite fast.
Upload multiple students at once if you are in a very large district. Wida AMS has provided you lots of information to help you do this. First, go to All Applications in the top left-hand side. Find your menu, go to Student Management so you can manage your student information. From there, I will get the sub-menu. I click on Manage Students, and then I will get a page with 2 tabs at the top. Mine that I'm going to is Upload Multiple Students. Now, I have these messages here from when I uploaded students before, the yellow and green. You won't see those. You will see instructions, which lays out all the instructions in case you forget everything I say. You also have the file layout, which is all the codes you need to fill out the file you'll want to print that and have it sitting next to you when you fill out your file. Then they give you a sample file. This is really helpful. You click on it, download it, and then it opens up and they give you all these sample students. You can take these students, erase them, and then fill in the file with your students. So you have a template. Then you save that to your computer. I'm going to close the instructions here. And you click on Browse. You find the file. You click on it. And then it goes right into this window and you hit Upload. You will then see a message. The student file has been transferred. It is being validated. Check back later to review the status. It will come back later with messages in yellow or green, like you saw at the beginning of my screen, that will tell you if you made errors or if everything was done perfectly. Good luck.
Okay. So I just wanted to, again, show you how quick those are. Apologize here. Let me grab our PowerPoint, and we are here. So I hope when she says good luck, I kind of chuckled when I heard that the first time. But what I wanted to relay is that these are very, very succinct guides. I've been through most of them myself, and I have really appreciated how they've parceled out the information this year. And you don't want to wait the day before or even 2 days before to start the process. I think that's when our luck might be tested a little bit. So you'll want to start this as soon as possible to be able to process those error messages that are a potential. They don't always happen, but sometimes they're just inevitable, like a comma is in a wrong spot and it detects it. So it's usually small things that need to be addressed, and then you can resubmit. You'll want to give yourself time to do that. So again, if you have any questions or you're looking for where to find things, let me know. Happy to help. So this is regarding paper materials and ordering and shipping. There's a little bit of an update here. Wida and DRC at Wida's request, based upon state's feedback, they're distributing more paper materials up front than ever before in the past. So the hope is to reduce your additional materials ordering needs, because that becomes stressful, as you know. They do recognize that you get an influx of students at the beginning of the year, and they're hoping to compensate and provide those up front for those high need, high requested materials. Just to note, the grades 1 through 5 writing books for access online will increase. Alternate access will be shipped in the same box as access. And then not shipped, but now electronically sent to you all will be return labels, shipping labels, your test administration manual, the district level coordinator manual, and grade 4 through 12 scripts. Additionally, any state specific directions that we send, which we will have a little overview sheet for you all when you get your materials, they'll be emailing you that based upon the site contact that we received from you all around Wida assessments. Sorry about that. We'll keep on going. Yeah. Everyone hear me okay? Okay. Sorry. Had a little like Siri effect there. So paper material ordering and shipping. Where was I here? Oh, they're asking the state departments to kind of monitor any district that might call and say, hey, I need this overnighted. And again, as you could predict, it's mainly about just protecting extra fees and costs. When those become large in demand, it's very, very costly for our state as well as the vendor as a whole. So you might hear them respond, hey, I just want to check in with Melanie or your state if you're requesting something out of the ordinary, if it's a very large additional material order or something that you're asking to be expedited and shipped overnight. So district test coordinators or district level coordinators, we really do encourage you to coordinate with your test administration and your team, anyone involved in sort of the ordering and material coordination of Wida access this year, because you're going to be getting more up front. So the percentage was 15% more materials, and they will be organized. You'll get an extra district box to keep on hand, and then the schools will also get additional materials. So when you're placing your orders, they are recommending that you order only for your L count, your current L count, because of this overage. I think that's really important to keep in mind here this year. Quickly, and you might have seen this in various formats already from newsletters that we've produced and sent you all, but Wida is attempting to make things a little easier to find on their website. We all know that their website's great, but it is really dense and has been described as a messy desk. It's there, but you don't know where to go. So they're trying really hard to produce handouts and quick links. So if you are a district coordinator preparing your test admins in your schools and teams and or yourself for how to get going with access, here is a 1 through 7 Candyland, it reminds me of Candyland, trail map to follow, and it is fantastic. The links that are embedded in the handout are exactly where you need to go on their website to see what you're looking for there. One thing I would highlight is number 7, get your students ready for testing. This, again, I think as a state, we're still getting ourselves used to testing with Wida, but getting your students ready is another step along the way. But DRC has a sample and example test that you can run almost like a pre-admin session for any students testing so they can get familiar with what they are going to be asked to do. Especially if you have new students who have not seen this format or test or might be needing some more comfort and navigation around the computer and speaking into a headset. It is really important to carve out the time if possible to do this. And I really like the fact that they've created this sample. You don't have to log in, you can just hit play. And I think the biggest thing is to clarify is that for them, it's not the test. It's just what they're going to do 2 days from now or 3 days from now, just to get them familiar with the process. This is specific to what's new this year. So the 17-18 administration, they've laid it out for you. Test preparation and training. The Let's Get Started graphic is referenced, which I just showed on the former slide. There are state-specific pages. I won't pull them up because they're all embedded in these links here, but Idaho has a state page off of the Wida website where we have, along with Wida, created a state checklist to help you get prepared. So at every point of administration, the pre-testing phases, the actual testing window, and then post-testing, we have outlined steps per role. So it should help in the sense of your planning. And that checklist, if it's not already there, I'm keeping an eye on it. It should be there anytime now. We've gone through multiple edits back and forth with Wida on that. Again, you'll want to get yourself familiar. There's webinars galore being offered right now. And those are, I'll highlight those in the next slide as well, but they're, again, per topic, per role. Technology updates, that one in the past has kind of caught us on surprise a little bit, but they have updated their system where access lives. So it's the DRC Insight browser. And if you have a district, if you're lucky enough to have a tech coordinator, you'll want to make sure that they are up to speed on what has changed and make sure your devices are ready to go. We've communicated some initial tech information to tech coordinators, but keep an eye on that if you're wearing many hats in your school or district. And here are the webinars I just referenced, specific to Access 2.0. They are on the front page of the Wida website. I just clipped this off. If you were to click the webinar schedule box at the bottom there, it brings up a long list of webinars per month. And what they've done is just highlighted the webinars per month here on their site, which will continue. So you'll see the ordering materials happened soon on the 8th, tech coordinator support, and then managing your students online. So those are all really relevant and timely. This I just pasted out at the very top of the document. When you click the webinar schedule, it lets you know that everything will be recorded and you can find them a week after the date that they went live off of the Wida website. And if you click that Wida website link, it will show you exactly the recorded webinar component. So if you don't have the chance to watch it live, you do have a chance to go back in and see it. Here's my contact, my phone number, my email. I also wanted to let you know we have an assessment newsletter. And if you're interested in getting on that newsletter, it does highlight all state assessments, but I parcel out my section. So you could just read the section applicable to Wida. We give very just-in-time information on those every other week. So feel free to join that. Let me know if you want to join in. I don't want to assume that anyone wants extra email, but it is. We hope it's really helpful newsletter. So while Alyssa's taking a look at the queue for any questions, I just want to thank Melanie again for this wonderful partnership with the assessment department and our department to get this timely information out to you. And so I'll just defer to Alyssa to see if there's any other questions.
One question around screener writing booklets after they have been graded, what you would like to have done with them.
Right. We've just collaborated and kind of talked about that. We would prefer you keep them for now in the student's QM file. And we're trying to establish some norms and business rules related to those. But for now, since it's a new process, we envision the need to potentially re-reference them. So I would encourage you to keep them.
Great question. Great answer.
It is a good question. That's it. Okay. Thank you all very much.
So we have about 4 minutes if you would like to type any last questions, and we'll give you probably about 2 minutes to do that. This is where I wish we had that game show ringtone, so that way.
Question about the link for the EL curriculum review. I'm going to scroll back up. So when you print this out, this handout out, you will see on this slide, you will be able to click right here on your handout that says apply here. And this will send you right to a link. You will see the form. It's a form to fill out. It will ask you your district name information, your district, your name, your information, your district name information, your role, and contact information. So click on that apply here button, and that will get you there.
And we have some multitaskers because I've seen 2 applications come in during our webinar. So wonderful. It's working.
Another question about when today's webinar will be available. We will be working on converting it over to the correct format, and we will get it uploaded. It should be up there probably, I would say, later this afternoon along with the handout. Thank you for the update. You're very welcome. Let's see. The slides will be available as well. With the handout will also be available as well with the link that we upload to YouTube.
Awesome. And with that, we will see people February. So we get a little bit of a break because of holidays and whatnot. But I think February, does anyone know it off the top of their head?
I believe it's the second week of February. I can pull it up here really quick.
February 26th will be our next third quarterly call. Sarah?
Yes, and I just want to say, just that reminded me, I will be seeing some of you later this week at our state PAC meeting. And I had sent out a request, if you had a student who attended the Migrant Student Leadership Institute that would like to share their presentation with parents. We had a student who did that in Caldwell last week, and it was absolutely the highlight because the student was, I think it was just a really great experience for them, and I think a great experience for parents. So if you could let me know if you have a student who attended the Migrant Summer Leadership Institute who's planning on attending. I know for sure we have 1, but I'd love to have maybe 2 at each location. And let me know who those students are, and we'll see you later this week.
Yeah, thank you for that. With that, we will close our quarterly call. Of course, you are always welcome to contact us. Don't wait for the quarterly call. Our phones and emails are on 24/7. So have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much.